Good morning. As you've heard, I'm Jeff Minson. I'm Interim Dean of the Nicholas School. I'd like to welcome you to Admitted Students Weekend. Admitted Students Weekend is an exciting time for the faculty and staff here at the school. We get to put faces together with names and start building the lasting relationships that define Duke environment. I want to thank you again for joining us. This is my 11th year at the Nicholas School, but the Nicholas School is not the first professional school where I've taught. My teaching since 1990 has been entirely focused on professional master's students, such as yourselves. And this is a slide showing the various schools where I've taught. These schools span environment, public policy, and international relations. Having taught at a variety of professional schools, I've gotten a sense of what the distinctive strengths of the Nicholas School are. And I refer to them as the 5 R's, the range of our program, its relevance, the return on your investment, should you choose to come here, which we hope you will, our program's reliability and respect. I encourage you to think about these features as you consider which professional school is the right place for you to invest in your future during the next couple of years. Starting with the first of these, range, let me assure you that whether your particular passions pertain to ecosystem conservation, forestry, or coastal and marine management, climate change, energy, or water resources, or environmental health, environmental economics and policy, or business in the environment, you'll find there are ample opportunities and resources for you to pursue these passions here at the Nicholas School. A key feature of our professional master's degrees is that they're not generic environmental degrees. You don't need general purpose environmental training for today's job market. You need tailored expertise that provides depth in particular areas. Our Master of Forestry is a professionally accredited degree that provides the training required for jobs in the forest sector. And our Master of Environmental Management offers 8 concentrations, which prepare you for jobs in particular natural resource and environmental sectors. Duke's the ideal home for a school of the environment. As a university with 10 schools, an unmatched commitment to knowledge in the service of society, and an incredible commitment to interdisciplinarity. You can take classes or add a concurrent degree in one of Duke's other outstanding professional schools, including our schools of business, public policy, and law. If that's not enough to augment your education, you can even take classes at our excellent neighboring universities, UNC Chapel Hill and NC State. Beyond its degree-granting schools, Duke has an alphabet soup of institutes and initiatives that are related to the environment and provide practical training opportunities for our students. Those parts of the university include the Nicholas Institute of Environmental Policy Solutions, the Duke University Energy Initiative, and the Duke Global Health Institute, among others. And these are all closely affiliated with the Nicholas School. I mentioned our neighboring universities a moment ago. Duke benefits from being in the Research Triangle, which is formed by the cities of Durham, Raleigh, and Chapel Hill, and their universities, research institutes, government labs, tech companies, and entrepreneurial culture. This is a prime place to be for environmental breakthroughs. A last point I'll make about the range of opportunities and resources at the Nicholas School is that we are, to the best of my knowledge, and I've said this several times and nobody has contradicted me yet, but to the best of my knowledge, we're the only environmental school with both a university forest and a marine lab. The Duke Forest is right next to Duke's campus here in Durham. You probably went by it or through it when you came here this morning. It's used for both research and education, in addition to being a sustainably managed working forest. And I hope you'll come to the campfire tonight. I went last year, and it was a lot of fun, and I was told it was even more fun after I left. The Duke University Marine Lab, which is on the North Carolina coast in the historic and quaint town of Beaufort, is the Nicholas School's second campus. It's an institution dedicated to coastal and marine education and research, with resident faculty, students, and staff. And yes, you can see both wild horses and dolphins when you look out the windows there, and you can see them at the same time. Those of you who are in our CEM or thinking of being in our CEM concentration will have the pleasure of spending your second year in Beaufort at the lab. That's a lot about the range of our professional master's programs. Let's talk about their relevance. We take very seriously the importance of understanding what students want to get out of our program and what employers are looking for in recent graduates. And I want to make 2 points here. The first is that our MEM and MF programs offer the best of both worlds. They offer the practical nature of an MBA, an MPP, Master of Public Policy, or JD, law degree, with the focus on leadership skills like problem solving, teamwork, project management, and effective communication, combined with the specificity of a degree like a Master of Science, where you take courses focused on the scientific underpinnings of critical environmental issues. And this combination of the sorts of skills that you get through other professional degrees and the science knowledge that you get through something like a Master of Science is what you need to be competitive in the job market when you graduate. And that also gives you flexibility and adaptability that you'll need as you move through your career and new opportunities become available to you. Through experiential opportunities associated with our courses, certificates, internships, RA-ships, and master's projects, our programs will empower you with the skills necessary to effect change, spur innovation, and inspire others. While our degrees don't have the word science in their names, they are science-based programs. We emphasize both the natural and social sciences, as environmental problems are as much about humans as they are about the natural world that we live in. My second point about relevance has to do with research, which is another R word, but allow me to include it here with relevance. The Nichols School has an outstanding faculty. The research is relevant to you and your future careers because there's still much we don't understand about how the planet works, how humans are affecting it, and how we can influence human behavior to achieve more sustainable outcomes. Here's a map showing the locations of our faculty's research projects, and as you can see, they literally span the globe. If you come here, you'll have the competitive advantage of being the first to learn about the discoveries they're making and the solutions they're developing. Let's talk about return on investment. I'm an economist, okay, so I think of such things, and I think this is perhaps the most important thing you should be thinking about as you consider different degree programs. And it's the question, is the degree worth it? Let me begin by assuring you that your interest in going into the environment as a professional field is well placed. This field is growing, and you're in a good location to be training to enter it. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics projects substantial job growth in the broad field of the environment and its subfields, as shown in the first column in this table here. And there are even higher percentages expected in North Carolina, according to the North Carolina Department of Commerce. Environmental expertise and opportunities for internships, clients for master's projects, and jobs are all close at hand here at Duke Nicholas. For the class of 2017, 96% of MEM and MF graduates secured employment within approximately 6 months of graduation. That's shown on the right side of this slide. On the left, you see the sectors that our most recent grads are working in. The environmental field has changed a lot since the 1990s when this school was formed. Then the primary employers of our graduates were federal agencies and nonprofit environmental organizations. Today, although many of our graduates still take jobs with those types of employers, more than half take jobs in the private sector, corporations, consulting firms, and startups. To better equip our students for these new types of environmental jobs, a few years ago we launched an Environmental Innovation and Entrepreneurship certificate program. And just this year, we welcomed in our first class into our new and already popular business and environment concentration under our MEM degree. For even better evidence that a Nick School degree is worth it, I'd encourage you to take a look at the accomplishments of our alumni. And if you go to our website, you can find out a lot about them. So from having taught professional master's students for nearly 30 years, I've learned that if you want to measure the quality of a professional school, then you need to look at its alumni. They're the proof that a school is selecting talented students and training them well. Our alumni are highly accomplished, and they're all over the country and all around the world. Throw a rock at almost any environmental organization or in almost any environmental meeting, and you're likely to hit a Nicholas School alum. Not that I advocate throwing rocks. Here are just 4 of our outstanding alums, clockwise from top left. Robert Bonney. Robert was the top natural resources official under President Obama as Undersecretary for Natural Resources and the Environment in USDA. He's currently in residence here and sharing his expertise with our students. Robert and I had the pleasure of teaching a course together this fall. Mariko Sayak is mayor of Los Gatos in California, who's working very hard to make her town a greener municipality and fighting very hard to do that despite federal cutbacks. She spoke to alums and prospective students at one of our 25th anniversary events last year, which we held in San Francisco. Joel Dunn is the funder of the Chesapeake Conservancy and one of the most innovative leaders in the US nonprofit conservation world. And finally, in the lower left, Erica Blyther is environmental supervisor at LA International Airport, and she spent time with us here at the Nicholas School in the fall. Another aspect of return on investment is, of course, cost. You can have great returns to the place you're going, but how much does it cost you to get those returns? And I'm sure that cost is a major issue when you think about whether investing in a master's degree is really worth it. So I'm a first-generation college student. I'm from a working-class family, and I know about these issues firsthand. I financed my education, both college and graduate school, through a combination of scholarships, work-study jobs, and loans. Education's made all the difference in my life, and I don't want financial difficulty to prevent any student from attending the Nicholas School. My top fundraising priority as interim dean has been financial aid. Barely a year ago, I announced a $25 million financial aid campaign. We've raised more than $6 million toward that goal already, and we put it to work. More than 80% of professional master's students in the Nicholas School receive either merit-based or need-based aid, in some cases both of those, and that's aid that's funded by the Nicholas School. We do everything possible to make our programs affordable to you. We have a petition process where we will consider offering increased aid to students who receive better financial aid offers from other schools. If you're in that situation, please reach out to our financial aid office at the email address that's shown here for more details on the petition process. We don't want you to attend elsewhere just because it's more affordable. Our fourth distinctive feature is reliability, and this is a point about history. We're not a brand new school trying to figure out how to train environmental leaders. The Nicholas School was formed about 25 years ago when Duke merged three existing parts of the university. The School of Forestry, the Marine Lab, and the Geology Department. Each of those units dated back to the 1930s. Our Master of Forestry degree program is more than 75 years ago. We just celebrated its 75th anniversary a couple years ago. Our Master of Environmental Management is more than 40 years old. We have a lot of experience with designing professional master's programs that provide students with the knowledge and skills they need to be successful in their careers. And it's not surprising there should be such a long history of environmental education at Duke. Something you may not know is that science-based natural resource management in the United States began in North Carolina, began in western North Carolina near the city of Asheville, at a place that's come to be known as the cradle of forestry. And it's there that in the late 1800s, forestry experts from Germany came over and founded the first forestry school in the US, and that was the first effort to apply science to natural resource management in this country. And Beaufort, where our Marine Lab is where Rachel Carson, an icon of the environment movement, started her writing career when she was working for the US Bureau of Fisheries, and her book, Under the Sea Wind, was based on her experiences there. The last R word is respect. We're committed to being a diverse and inclusive community that welcomes and respects all those who come here to study and to learn. We strive to build a school community that welcomes people to environmental fields regardless of their race, ethnicity, national origin, religion, sexual orientation, gender identification, physical capabilities, and other important characteristics of their identity. It's essential to have diversity in environmental professions for a very simple reason. Environmental problems are tough problems. We need to recruit the best and brightest minds, like all of you, to address these problems. Unfortunately, nationwide, the student bodies of environmental schools represent only a narrow demographic slice of the country's and the world's population. Minorities, low-income groups, and first-generation students are all heavily underrepresented. And that says to me that we're missing out on a lot of talent. Given the importance of environmental problems, that's a loss that we can't afford. Here at the Nicholas School, we've taken a number of steps to attract a more diverse student body, with financial aid being an important component. We still have a long way to go to ensure that we're drawing fully on all talent pools, but we're making progress, and we'll keep working hard on it. Okay, I listed 5 things, but I have to add a 6th. Recreation. There is plenty in North Carolina to occupy you in your downtime, which we hope you'll have some of. We want you to work very hard while you're here, and we will do our best to make sure you work very hard. But you will have some downtime, and whether your recreational interests run toward the more urban or the more outdoorsy, there's a lot to do in this area. Durham was recently named by Vogue as the state's hippest city, given its bustling and creative culinary scene, which is true. There is a great new restaurant opening seemingly every week in downtown Durham. Beaufort, home to our Marine Lab and pictured here in the middle, has been named the coolest small town in North America by Travel and Leisure magazine. It's also one of the gateways to North Carolina's more than 300 miles of sandy coastline, which includes the United States' first national seashore. And in the western part of the state, we have the Appalachian Mountains, which are some of the country's oldest mountains and its most biologically rich mountains, if you leave out Hawaii. They're also home to some of the state's most interesting towns, such as Asheville, which is pictured here in the bottom right. I could go on and tell you more things about this school, this university, life in Durham and the Research Triangle and North Carolina, but we've got a lot planned for you today, and there are others who need to come up to the podium. And so I'm going to wrap up by saying that the only better thing than seeing all of you here today would be to see all of you here in August. So thank you for your time, and have a great weekend.